Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Let's Code. So, you want to make a login system using PHP? I am here to help you with that. We require some prerequisite, and that is XAMPP. This in your system. If you want to learn how to download and install XAMPP, you can find the link in the iCard and in the description below. So, I'm not going to show you how to download and install in this video, but you can check those video. The link will be in the description. Now let's get started after installing the XAMPP in the coding part. So I've already created a folder inside. After you install the XAMPP, inside the XAMPP folder, you have to go to the htdocs. You have to create any folder like by any name. So I've here created web tutorial folder inside, and I'm having a login system. So in this, I'm going to do my coding part. So I'm using Notepad++. So firstly, for a login system, you have to create like a registration first. The user has to register by providing its name, email address, and password. So for that, a UI you have to create. So here I'm not going to create a CSS added UI, but it will be a simple form by having three text inputs like the name, email address, and password, and with a submit button. So to create, let's start by creating the form. So HTML body tag form. I'm closing the form tag. So this will be our skeleton for the HTML. So inside the form tag, we have to pass a method called post. An action will be till now the action will be like nothing. We have to create another file for that. File will be containing the PHP part, the backend part, in which whatever you pass the data in the UI, it will be passed to those file. Like if the file name is process.php, so I have to write here process.php, so that the each and every values inside the text will be passed to the process.php. So now a label with enter name. So input type will be text, name will be username, and let use a placeholder also. Enter name. Oh, now let's just copy this two lines and paste it up. So instead of enter name the second, we have to write enter email. Input type is text, but the name will be like user mail, and inside a placeholder enter email address. Now for here you have to write enter password. Now input type will be changed to password, as we now want to show the credentials. Now in the name you have to write user pass. You can write any name you want, but in placeholder enter new password. Now finally a submit button. For that, input type equals to submit, name user submit, value like create account. This is like a registration. So this video will be a part by part. So the first part, which is this, in which we are going to create a registration. So after registering a user, then only he will be able to access the account. So the second part will be the actual login. So here first part is the registering to store the data inside the database. So how to do that, we will learn in this video. So yeah, so I've created the button. Let's save this file. So now we have to save this file inside the exam folder htdocs, which we have created. Or after installing, you will see those folders. So inside web tutorials in login system, I'm going to save it as index.html. Now, after installing XAMPP server, you also have need to run the XAMPP. Like this is will be the control panel for XAMPP. Yeah, this will be the control panel for XAMPP. So you have to start the server as well as the MySQL database server. Okay. So after that, you just need to type like localhost. This shows that the server is actually running. Now to access the folders, you have to write the localhost and the folder name, which is the web tutorials, the first folder. Inside the web tutorials, we have a login system folder as showing in this. So just click. See, we have received the index.html, which is showing over here. This is an inline form. Let's make it as a uh, breakdown. Let's break it down like after I enter name, the second line will be the enter email. So for that, we just need to pass a break statement after the input. So let's just add two break statement after the enter password field. Let's just make uh, properly visible, and we just pass the form inside a center tag to align it in the center, and we will have a heading to show actually this is a registration form. Just refresh it. There you go. This is a registration form. So enter name, enter email, and enter password. Okay, just refresh it. So now we have created the visual form. Now the second part is the actual coding, the backend for PHP. So for that we have to create a new file. So here we have to start with the PHP part. So yeah, for PHP, for actually first we have to connect the index.html with the backend server first. So for that we need four variables. And that is, for example, you can write any variable name. So I'm to ease my perspective, I'm going to write db host. The host is localhost. Now db user and db pass and database name. So db user is nothing but root, password is blank, database. Now here we actually need to create a database first. So open a new tab in Google Chrome and whatever you whatever browser you like, open it and just you have to write localhost slash php myadmin. Inside php myadmin you have to click on new to create a new database. So I'm going to write user data, or sorry, login system. Just create it. The database is created. So we need to, sorry, my bad, we need to mention the database name here, that is login system. Okay, now inside the login system we have to create a table called data. So here we actually having three datas or three information, that is name, email and password, but we require four because one will be the id. Okay, so let's go. So here you will write id, here you will write username, here you will browse the user email, or I have wrote as yeah, user mail, and user pass. ID will be the int, username will be a variable character, and email also variable character, password will be also a variable character. Length for ID, let's pass 5, username 20, user email 20, password 10. Okay, now ID will be a auto incremented value, and it will be a primary key. So yeah, after clicking, yeah, it's a primary key and it's an auto increment key. That's it. Now scroll down, just save the table. So this is our table data with id, username, and user mail and user pass. So now in the notepad, second, we just need to create a connection between the two. For connection, you write MySQL connect. We will pass those four variables inside this, that is db host, db user, db pass, and database name. Now we will check if dollar connection for MySQL error. You have to echo a statement if there's an error, or else connected. Okay, to save, have to save this file inside that folder. So I'm going to use name like register.php. Now we need to actually pass that file inside the index.html in the action attribute for the form as register.php. Now let's just open again a new tab and write localhost slash web tutorials. Inside login system we need register.php. Oh, unexpected variable db user. uh, oh, sorry, my bad. And we need to write semicolon inside each and every line. So yeah, we have connected our file. Okay, we have connected, and we don't require the statements. Now actually we have established a connection between the index file and the register. Now actually we need these three variables now, three values for name, email, and password. So for that I'm going to create a new three variables. Like I'm going to use the same like username, user mail, and user password. Now here in the index we have used a method called post, so we will write here dollar underscore post, that is user name. Okay, the username here is from the name attribute of the input tag. So we just need to copy and paste this, and instead of username here we will write user mail and user password. Now let's just echo the statement called username. Okay, so just refresh it. Now here I'm going to write let's code create account. There you go, we are getting the name, like each and every value that we're writing. Let's code at xyz.com and the password. Oh, I didn't echo the statement, so let's just write like user mail user pass. Refresh it. Yeah, so we can actually see our username, our email address, and password. But actually the password which we are writing over here is not visible, but it's visible after the post over here. We will take care of that afterward. So now we have getting these three variables. Now we are able to grab the values like username, user mail, and password. After that, we need to create an SQL statement. That is, we need to insert into. Now here, this is a database name. Now here we need to pass the table name, and that is data. Okay, so insert into data. Inside the data, we have three columns: username, user mail, and user pass. So we just need to write username, user mail, user pass, and values are dollar username, dollar user mail, dollar user pass. Just add a semicolon. Now we have a SQL statement. Now we'll pass the SQL statement in an if statement, like if mysqli mysqli query for SQL, and we will provide the SQL string query. Like first we need to provide the connection and then the SQL. Now if the statement works, echo data stored, or else there will be an error like something went wrong. Okay, now let's just see in action. So there's no data inside the table. Let's just add it data, create account. So here the Yugo data has been stored. Let's just refresh the data table. There you go, the ID one, username, user mail, and password. But actually we are storing the password in the visual format, like it's not encoded or it's not hashed. So this might be very problematic. So we need to hash the password. So for that I'm going to use an MD5 hashing method. There are various hashing methods in the PHP, like hashing in PHP, like there's a MD5 SHA. Okay, there you can see we need to pass the, like for hash, it's we have used here the RIP MD160, and we have hashed the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. The output will be in this random letters. This will be a combination of random letters. Okay, so this is called an hashing. So now we were going to use an MD5 hash. So for the MD5 hash to work, we just need to pass the MD5 and the user password variable. So for that, it means like user password, here we need to write MD5, and then we have passed the user password inside the MD5. Let's just save and let's just see the output what will be. Now let's just refresh, start with the beginning, like let's code email 1 2 3 4 5 6, data has been stored. Just refresh it. As you can see, the difference between the two here is not a hashed, and this is the hashed password for that. So I hope you guys you have learned something in this tutorial, like normal registration for a user using a PHP, like creating a form and then passing those variable by using an action attribute in the form, and inside the register.php by creating the four variables. So by creating a connection, passing those four variables, and we are grabbing the information from the index.html by using the post method inside the register.php, and we will pass those inside an SQL statement by mentioning the columns, and here passing the values and inserting inside the data. And here it's a condition just to check if the query and connection has been worked, that just display a data stored, or else something went wrong. So in our case the data has been stored, and we also used a hashing method called md5, okay, to store the password securely. But this is a basic hashing we have used here. Okay, there are various other hashing like bcrypt, md250, sha. Okay, so I hope you all learn how to create a registration form. So in the next part we will look to create actual login. So for the first part has been completed, the registration. Our second is actually getting the authenticating the user, and and the user will be able to log into that system. So to for to create that, that's a part 2. So now make sure you do subscribe this channel and do press the bell icon. Okay, do share with your friends. I will see you in the upcoming tutorial video.